Welcome to your Daily 5 for Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. You may remember that Lando had mentioned that the Criterion Channel, my favorite streaming service of all, had added a collection titled Synth, which are movies that feature a very heavy synth influence in terms of either their score or just the general kind of feeling from synth music. But I mean, almost all of them, I think, have a synth score of some type. And I was wandering through it because I think I had mentioned in that show that I've seen most of the films that are in that collection, and almost all of them are fantastic. So I would recommend, even if you don't have Criterion Channel, go look through that list. There's lots of good stuff in there. I almost rewatched Thief just because it's such a great movie. But anyway, I was wandering through and I came across an animated film, a Romanian 1984 animated feature, 110 minutes long, so on the relatively short side, called Delta Space Mission. Although I've seen at least 3 other titles in English for it, and I can't even pronounce the Romanian one, I'll just butcher it. But I saw that, and I've been on an animation kick lately. I've just been getting back into watching animated stuff because it's such a magnificent art form that I don't think enough people have appreciation of in terms of traditional hand animation, how much effort goes into that and how much you have to do to make that look even half decent. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch this. It's pretty short. It's from a different country. I like to see what other countries do. I mean, I've seen plenty of American and Japanese animation, but I like to delve into different areas and see different stuff, kind of like the folk horror thing where I've watched a lot of horror films from other countries. So I thought, let me watch this because it looks interesting to me. And it's a pretty simple story. It's a very interesting utopian vision of the future, actually, because it takes place in the year 3084. Earth, as far as you can tell from this movie, has managed to purge itself, Star Trek style, of a lot of the problems that we currently have. You see lots of different diverse people all working together. There doesn't appear to be war. There doesn't appear to be inequality. The future looks pretty good. There's this planet-wide enthusiasm for science and exploration. And the movie starts off with an alien reporter because Earth is not having problems with people outside the planet either. Aliens are welcome on the planet, so an alien reporter lands, a female alien reporter named Alma lands, to document the installation of a supercomputer brain into something called the Delta Station, which is a giant, almost Dyson sphere-like space station. It's kind of like a much more benign Death Star that is meant to go out from Earth and foster better relations with the rest of the universe. Again, this is a very interesting, refreshing, utopian vision of the future. And so she's looking at the brain, and the brain sees her and falls in love with her, or what it feels like the concept of falling in love with her is. So when they launch the station, it vanishes because it doesn't know how to express itself to her, but it thinks it loves her. It's almost like King Kong and Fay Ray, like that type of thing, where, you know, there's not really ever going to be a future for these two, but there's this infatuation. Maybe that's a better word for it. And so the space station vanishes. No one knows why. And then years later, I think it's years later, could be months later, it really doesn't matter. Sometime later, it reappears when Alma is on Earth again, taking pictures of her frog dog, Tin, who is a major player in this movie and the source of much comic relief, but also really the hero of the film. It's a fascinating, this movie has lots of interesting aspects to it. And one is that the true protagonist, the true hero of the movie, is a 2-legged frog dog that can eat metal. I'm not making that up. And so the space station reappears. It tries to abduct Alma because it has this crush on her. And in the end learns that it doesn't really know what human emotions are. It's just simulating what it thinks they are. And it's a really interesting film. The art style is really, I think, it's reflective of this different type of vision of space where things are very streamlined but also very colorful. The soundtrack is wild, and I like it a lot. It's a very, very distinctive type of soundtrack for a film like this. The art style, the actual animation itself, there seems to be some rotoscoping and some more traditional animation in there. A lot of use of bold and interesting colors, real heavy variety in the alien types, the ship designs. It just feels like it was a bunch of people who had all different ideas and they figured out how to put them into a movie that just keeps things very simple so that they can have this broad canvas to make their art on. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I think you can watch it in a lot of different ways. I think it's on Amazon for maybe $2 or $3, so it's absolutely worth that. Again, if you have Criterion out there, I think it's on a couple of different streaming services. Not easy to get the physical copy of it, but I don't know that most people would really want that, but it's very, very cheap to rent. So again, it's called Delta Space Mission from 1984, Romanian. And I would say if you're at all interested in animation, especially from other countries, it's worth a watch because I had a really good time with it. Later.